Hello, Marta. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm Dimitris from Metal Chaos. We have done a couple of interviews in the past, and we met in Keep It True a long time ago. Long time ago. So we have some interesting things to talk about.
If you
Uh,
say so.
Come on. Okay, first of all, the band had a very recent lineup change. Eric was replaced by Giuseppe. So my first question was this decision sudden to the band?
Actually, Eric always wanted to be more like session musician and to
Uh,
focus more on studio works because he has his own studio, recording studio, and he told us many times that he would like to work more in the studio than, for example, on touring and stage and so on. So just when and this year we have lots of live shows to play with Crystal Viper. And he had also other things in his schedule, and they just
Collided.
yes collided, and that's why he decided to at the end quit the band. And we have right now Giuseppe. We already played with him first live show 2 weeks ago in Germany. No, 1 week ago. Time is running so fast. Yeah, it was, let's say, Odd Metal Frenzy Festival in Germany 1 week ago. We had fun on stage together. So it looks like I hope that Giuseppe found new home in Crystal Viper.
Well, I was about to ask, how did you find Giuseppe? Not the other way around, because you said Giuseppe found his home, but hey, I'm joking.
We actually placed few infos on the social media that we are looking for a guitarist, and he just sent us a message. We contacted him. He came to Poland to meet us, to play with us, and it clicked. So
Perfect.
we played together for a while. Yeah, and that's
Perfect.
it.
Perfect. Do you think, or although it's too early to say this, uh, Giuseppe will bring something to the sound of Crystal Viper, aside from playing live, of course?
Mm, for sure, he will bring something new to our sound because it's like that with every single musician. Each of us have our own sound in our hands.
Mm,
So you will take two completely different bass players and you will ask them to play the same thing. Both of them will sound totally different because they have different style of playing. They are influenced by other things, and it's the same with guitarists. So I believe uh, that he will bring something new to our sound because he simply plays different than Eric, right?
fair. Fair enough.
And the one thing I already noticed is that he and Andy, they sound very good together. And this is also important when you have two guitarists in the band to get them, how to say that?
Play
When you
nice. I'm
have, uh, no, because sometimes there are guitarists in the band and they don't understand each other musically, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And what I already found out is that Giuseppe and Andy understand each other without words when they are playing, and this is super important. And as I already mentioned, we met here in Poland. He came to Poland. We played rehearsal. We played a couple of songs from Crystal Viper, and they really sound nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward for the next show with Giuseppe.
Perfect. Okay. How or when did you decide to revisit Providence?
It's hard to say because it's like I didn't plan to revisit because I never left.
Ooh, great answer. Love it.
Yes, I've never left because, you know, when the Cult album was released, I was keep on reading Lovecraft because
Mm,
you probably know that he wrote a lot of stories. I also recently discovered he was writing poems, so I already started reading his poems. So the cult was out there already, and I was keep on reading, and I was keep on composing music. So it was when we already were talking about working on the new album, I simply knew that it will be kind of continuation when it comes to lyrics, with the inspiration taken from Howard Phillips Lovecraft. It was so natural that we didn't even actually talked about it. It was just like, all right, so what are gonna be the lyrics about on the next album? Probably Lovecraft. Yes, all right, let's do that. So I don't know. There wasn't even other option. It was like continuing what we already started.
Since you are reading Lovecraft, it's the type of madness or sickness. So now you are possessed officially, so you can never escape.
Yes, I can never escape. And actually, I don't know if every human on earth have the same as what I have. But for example, when I'm reading his stories, I can really, I don't how to say that. I read his stories, then I go to sleep, then I have those weird dreams, and on the next day, I write lyrics for example, Cosmic Forces Overtake. But actually, this lyrics for this one is not inspired by some specific novel from Lovecraft. It's inspired by a dream that I have after reading his stories.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see what will happen next.
So you know what? You described the essence of the Lovecraft stories and the mythos that he created, that it is a unique type of fear, that the fear, as he calls that, the fear of the unknown. Stuff that you cannot understand and therefore you cannot know are those that scares you the most.
To be honest, I wouldn't name all those feelings around his story as fear, because when you read his stories, it's like watching a movie, right? You are watching a movie and you are not really afraid, right? It's a kind of, it's more thrill than real fear, right?
I understand where you're going. Yeah, sure. There is the dream aspect of things, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
It's more thrilling. It's not fear, but for sure it moves my
Your inspiration,
my imagination. It keeps my imagination going, you know.
Perfect.
So for example, sometimes what drives me in a mood of composing some specific music is, for example, weather behind the window. We have strong winter, lightning strikes, a thunder, and so on. And it's a mood for composing a song, for example, like Fever of the Gods, right? But we have a beautiful sunny day, sun is shining, birds are singing, and then I read Lovecraft story. And it will bring me in the exact same mood as this weather that is described a couple of seconds ago. So yes, what he's doing in his stories, it's pure magic to me, because I love reading books. I love to read books. I try to read as much as possible when I only have time for that. And but there doesn't exist a second writer that can place with my feelings and the way I feel when I read his stories and books like Lovecraft. He's the only one who did that with me. And also, it is pretty interesting because I don't know Howard Phillips Lovecraft stories and books for a long time, actually, because it was not very long before I started working on the cult. Actually, my husband introduced me to Lovecraft stories because, he always, Bart is my husband. He always knew that I like to read. He knew what kind of books I like. And one day he told me, Marta, you read so many books. I think you might like Lovecraft. And to be honest, I wasn't very interested in his stories and novels, because all I knew about him was this mystic Cthulhu from the ocean, and I felt like this is not something that will get me into, reading or what would interesting me in general. But then my husband told me that it's not only about this monster from the sea. It is, of course, but you need to get a little bit deeper into his, writing, into his stories. Check it out. And the very first story he told me that I should start with was The Dreams in the Witch House. And I read the story and I was like, man, what is that? All right. So if this one was so good, I need to check another one. And there was another one and another one and another one. And I'm a pretty busy person, so I don't have that much time for reading as I would like to. So for example, if I start reading a story and didn't have time to finish it, I was doing my stuff with audiobooks in my phones. So I was doing my things and I was listening to Lovecraft stories, like by audiobooks to know what will happen next. So some people have this kind of thing with some TV series or movies. I have this with books.
So are you reading the English versions or the translated text for Lovecraft?
I tried to read them in English, but it was too difficult for me. English is not my first language. I would say my English is pretty simple. It's communicative for me. And reading such
difficult English, you can say that.
Yes, he wrote his stories in this old style English, right? So I read translated books, and same with poems. I mean, a couple of months ago, I bought Lovecraft's book with Lovecraft poems, and on one page there is an original version, and on the second page is Polish translation. So I can read the Polish one and pick up the, on the English one. So what is pretty cool, but yeah, it's too difficult for me to read them.
I totally understand you. I am Greek, and obviously English is not my first language. So when I first read Lovecraft, it was translated. Now I have switched to trying to read in English, and yes, it's difficult. So many unknown words. He's using those archaic English ones. So, but still, to me, it's part of the beauty of how you can approach. So at some point, you can reread those.
Yeah, but I will stick to Polish.
I totally get you. Don't feel bad about it. I think I saw a post of you that you said that At the Mountains of Madness is your one of the favorite stories of Lovecraft, but that story is almost perfect for a concept album.
Concept album, it's perfect for a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm super surprised that there isn't a movie based on this story, actually. It's super long. There are so many interesting things going on in this story, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think there were some rumors that Guillermo del Toro was working.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I'm not sure.
And it was also something like that Nicolas Cage was supposed to play one of the roles in this. But
it was The Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage, right?
Yes, there is a movie like that. It's great. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's amazing, really.
But hey, I agree. A movie for At the Mountains of Madness will be great. But I was thinking for a Crystal Viper concept album.
Well, we will see. We will see. I don't plan the next album yet,
I know.
Still not released yet. So, but yeah, who knows? Who knows?
The paint is still wet on the album, and in fact, you had Mario Lopez doing the cover artwork, like he did for the Cult. So, In the previous album, we see a city that still stands. In the second artwork, we see a city that is in ruins. So can you help me make the connection?
Actually, there is no connection between those two cover arts. The only connection is that there is a kind of a thing, a kind of a monster who you can see ruled the space around. We decided to make a cover art like this to kind of introduce to people what they can find musically on the new album, because the new album is more aggressive, is faster, and it's darker.
Yeah.
So while the previous album with the city that is still standing, it matches the music. Right now, the music totally blown the city. So, yeah. I think the cover art matches perfectly the music, which is like even more brutal, because on the new album you can find some black or death metal elements for the very first time. I mean, in the past we were playing with bringing other genres to our music. We did that, for example, with some thrash elements, but right now it is more obvious what you can hear on this album. So the music, the cover art, I think they matches perfectly together. Mario is an amazing artist, and I really hope that we will be able to keep on working with him on our future projects as well.
On the cult number 3, right? No, I'm joking.
Actually, the Silver Key, the working title was the cult too.
That's why I said cult number 3. But since that you mentioned that, you chose to not call it the cult number 2. Why?
That was actually the first idea, but there are many people who don't know Crystal Viper or haven't heard Crystal Viper ever before. So I believe that if they would start with an album, The Cult Part 2, they might feel a little bit confused, because, okay, the Part 2, I don't know the Part 1, so should I listen to this one, or maybe I should start with the Part 1? And the truth is, those two albums are not kind of concept albums that are connected with each other, because the truth is none of them is a concept album. Correct. Every song tells another story. It's something different. Of course, lyrics are inspired by Lovecraft. They are connected with each other that way, but they are not concept albums. They are not one specific story that you tell from the beginning to the end of the album. So as the songs on the cult, they are not connected with each other. Those two albums are not connected with each other. So we decided to give it a different name, The Silver Key. And I think it was a good decision.
So at that point you said, Mario, hey, put a silver key on that monster.
Yes,
Ooh.
That's why.
Perfect. You mentioned that the music is more aggressive, and I agree with you. I think there are some growling vocals in Fever of the Gods. Is it you?
Yeah, it's me. It's me. And the truth is, it wasn't planned because I can't growl. I've always thought I cannot do that. And actually, I was never interested in doing that, because I have my style of singing, and I was like, it's enough. I'm good in that. I don't need to look for another styles of singing for myself. But when we were working in the recording studio, and I finished vocals for this one, and we were listening together what was already recorded, and all right, the ending of the song is coming, and then I was like, guys, don't you think it would sound more powerful at the very end if we would have a huge growl, scream sound at the very end? It would sound so amazing, and the song will sound even more powerful. And then they were like, okay, so go and do
it.
Go and do it, yes. And I was like, okay, but I cannot growl. I can give it a try, but I have no idea how to do that. So, and I wasn't sure if, I don't know, my throat won't start bleeding or so. But I went back to the recording room, and when the right moment came, I was like, "Roar!" And actually I did it once, and we have it on the album.
Perfect.
It was my first real growl in my entire life. But then I found another problem. If I will be able to do that live, because this is a different story, right? But 2 weeks ago, we played at the Metal Frenzy Festival in Germany, and we performed new songs for the very first time. And I was seriously considering if I should do that, because I was aware of that. If I will do that, if I will push my voice too hard because I can't growl, I will lose my voice for the rest of the show.
Correct.
And Fever of the Gods is the first one, right? So it will be a disaster for me. But well, I gave it a try. So, and I made it, and I think I will keep on doing that on the next live shows. For sure, I won't start growling on a regular basis.
Never say
No.
Never say no.
I won't do that, and I'm not interested in learning this technique of singing. But for sure, I would like to, for example, play bass or guitar in a death or black metal band, because I really like this genre as well. So it would be fun. Maybe one day someone will be looking for a bass player.
Perfect.
Or death metal band. So here I am. Let me know.
And I'm guessing that you chose the order of the songs, how they appear, and at the end you put Cosmic Forces Overtake. So I was thinking, there it is. This is why the city is destroyed at the end. We have the Cosmic Forces Overtake, right? And that's the most aggressive song of the album.
It's every time with every single album, it's the same when we put songs in order. We try to arrange everything in a way that the album sounds kind of dynamic, that we don't put 3 very fast songs together and then 3 very slow songs together. We want to do this. To keep the dynamics on the album, and to not make it sound tiring for the listener. Because if you have 4 songs like Cosmic Forces Overtake in a row, then the Cosmic Forces will overtake you for sure, and you will be done with the album after 3 or 4 songs. So it's also important to arrange music on the album in a kind of interesting way for a person who will be listening, especially for the first time.
Yeah.
That's also why you have this piano ballad in the middle of the album, to give the audience a little bit of rest and take a deep breath before the next song will hit you.
Yeah, makes sense. So mastering and production was done by Bart, as always, but the mixing was done by Cedric, right? And this is the second.
No.
No?
No. Cedric did mixes of The Cult. And the Silver Key was mixed in Cosa Buena Studio by Rafał Kosakowski.
I have my notes wrong then. Thank you for correcting me.
And actually, Rafał Kosakowski, who did mixes of this album, is a person that we know each other with for almost 20 years.
Correct. Yes.
And
yes.
when we started with Crystal Viper, those 20 years ago, and we did our very first recordings, we already knew each other. He was working in other recording studios where we did our recordings and so on. And a few years ago, we got a call from Rafał, and he told us that right now he has his own recording studio. He invited us, we checked it out, and we actually did a couple of recordings, recent recordings in his studio with him. And he's such a cool person to work with in the recording studio. Also very super talented sound engineer, and when they two are working together, Rafał and Bart, you can get such effect like the silver key. Yeah. And for sure, we will be recording next projects and albums also in this studio because it's really good. And yes, Bart did the mastering as always. And he did the production of, we work on the production with him as well. And yeah, that's the silver key.
So, what did
I keep on thinking, what else? But yeah, that's it.
where did you film the video for the silver key? It was on a cruise, right?
It was Full Metal Cruise.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, last year. Actually, it wasn't really planned because we played 3 shows. It was in September last year. We joined Full Metal Cruise and we played their 3 live shows, and we were there for 5 or 6 days.
Wow.
And we were shooting a lot actually when we were staying there. We were shooting live shows, we were shooting ourselves on the ship and so on, and didn't really have planned what we will do with those things. But the entire situation, the entire festival, and the idea of this festival is so unique and so amazing to us that, like I said, we decided to shoot it as much as possible, and later we would think what we will do with that, if we will ever do anything with that. But when we started working on the Silver Key, we already knew that we will have 2 music videos. So for the first video, we hired Grupa 13 from Poland. And for the second video, we came up with an idea that we will show the band working together in the recording studio during recording the album, and we will mix footages with the Full Metal Cruise to show people some, behind the scene moment, to show the band getting ready for a live show, how we spent the time on the Full Metal Cruise. And the other thing, pretty obvious, is that Lovecraft and being on the ship somewhere on the ocean, in the middle of in the sea, it kind of matches to me perfectly.
Perfect.
I haven't seen Cthulhu though.
So the other, you have another video, you said, right?
No, for this album, we have the Silver Key, and the first video we released for this album was Fever of the Gods.
Correct. Okay, so there is no third one.
No, we just released third single for Cosmic Forces Overtake, but no music video.
Okay.
So far.
What about the 2 covers? You have Misfits and Bathory. I guess you chose Misfits on the vinyl because for the time restrictions, right? You cannot put a bigger song as
Actually,
a bonus.
No?
No?
Okay. No, that wasn't the reason. With Crystal Viper, from the very beginning, we do such thing that we put 1 cover song on the album and we put something different on the vinyl. And we do that mostly for our fans who want to have our album in both formats, on CD and on the vinyl. So if you have and the CD and the vinyl, we would like this person to have something special on the vinyl. That's why we do that. And I think it's pretty nice idea, because myself, I also very often I buy CDs, I buy vinyls from one band if I really like it. So when bands do this kind of thing, it's a super cool for a fan, right? Yeah. So when we release music in different formats, we try to give something extra from ourselves.
Speaking of Bathory, you have a horse named Quothron?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, now I have a question for you. I saw that you had a posting that you said, "On my way to keep it true, riding your horse." And I was thinking, why do I go and rent a car if this is the way to go to keep it true?
Yeah, I do right. I work a lot with horses. I love horses since I was a little girl. And that was always my dream. And actually, I sat on the horse for the first time in my life when I was, I don't know, 7 years old or something like this. Then I was trying something with horses when I was a teenager. But the truth is, when I got older, I got a little bit more time for that and to focus on that a little bit more. So right now, I ended up with 2 Arabians.
Wow.
Yeah. So the one that I was riding
To keep it
at the
true?
Keep It True. This one is the older one, and we ride together through the forests and outside areas. And the second one, Quarton, he's super young. He's 3. He just turned 3, and I work with him. I teach him all the stuff right now. So it's a lot of work. I believe we will be riding together in about, I don't know, maybe 1.5 years or 2 years, because he's still too small and too young to put a saddle on him. So yeah.
So you won't have him ready for the summer season with the festivals with Crystal Viper, right?
But 2026.
Okay, okay, makes sense. So speaking about lives, as I said, you have the European summer festivals, and then you start again in Europe, the Silver Key Euro Tour. What is the rest of the year? Because that's tour ends at the end of October. What do you have for the rest of the year?
Well, aside from playing live, I keep on working on music. One project that I can tell you right now about is my second solo album.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is gonna contain my own songs, not cover songs this time.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking about recording Metal Queens Part 2 because I had so much fun when I was recording this album. But I really like to compose music. I love to do that. This is one of my biggest hobbies ever, and the best thing that I can do, and I really enjoy it. So if I can record another solo album, let it be with my own songs this time. So working on it at the moment. So when we start playing live, I will have to put a stop on this.
Yeah.
And after the tour, I will keep on working on music, and I will tell you in secret that everyone will hear actually that except my solo album, I'm also working on other projects, but let it be a surprise.
Projects? Many projects?
Yes, more than one.
So Moon Chamber, is this still going, still active?
No. Moon Chamber was just a one-time adventure, and I don't think we will record something more together.
But the other projects are singing on those other projects?
No, it's me doing entire music.
But it will be your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to take this information from you. Any chance to see Crystal Viper in the US, specifically in Chicago?
Oh, we would love to, but it was already kind of difficult to go to the US from Poland in the past. That right now it's even harder. I don't know how it looks like for people and musicians from other country, but in Poland it is right now like that getting there to play a live show, it's so freaking expensive. And I'm not only talking about the getting there, not only travel costs, but also you need to get this working visas, which are very, very expensive. So we will see. Of course, we would love to, because Yeah, I've never been there as well. So it's actually one of my points on my bucket list, to go
Oh,
there finally, to play, and to meet with actually lots of people, because I have lots of friends in the USA. So, and I know we also have fans out there who would surely come out to see us live. So yeah, we
yeah.
will see.
The visas have become ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, the costs are insane right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's hope that we will see Marta riding her horse on throughout the US, right? From the east to the west.
Yeah, out there you have those American quarter horse. So maybe
But
I will get one home.
you are getting too technical with me with horses, Marta. I have no idea.
Then in the USA you have this horse breed,
Okay.
American quarter horse.
Okay.
They are absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
There you
So
have another reason to come.
yes, for sure.
Marta, thank you very much for this interview. Lovely to talk to you about metal and Lovecraft. Send my regards to the rest of the band and Bart especially. And have a great time touring. Safe travels, and looking forward to hear all about your new projects.
Thank you very much for a nice talk, and thank you for supporting Crystal Viper, for supporting our music. It's super important, and we really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Anytime, Marta. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a nice day as well.
Bye bye.
Bye.